officers have a limited understanding of the capabilities of a K-9 team. K-9 teams rely heavily on patrol officers and are therefore greatly hindered by this lack of understanding. A K-9 team is often called as a last resort in an attempt to catch the guy that got away. A plan of containment and prompt coordination with a K-9 team will greatly increase the likelihood of apprehending a suspect. During this block of instruction, we will discuss the different techniques and methods that can be utilized by patrol officers to contain fleeing suspects. Cops, whether patrol officers, detectives, or K-9 handlers, love to catch criminals. Often criminals evade police capture. Cops don't like to lose, so they continue to beat the bushes in hopes to find the criminal. They will try anything, and when foot searches fail, and they still cannot find the guy, they call on a K-9 team to save the day. When the K-9 team arrives and deploys, officers stand back and expect the dog to perform miracles and locate the bad guy. However, because of the officers' initial efforts that have hampered their performance, the officer's reaction is, that dog never works. With some basic understanding of human scent, profiles of fleeing suspects, and how to establish an effective perimeter, officers can create the best circumstances to increase the odds of catching criminals. A dog has the ability to detect odors far better than humans. Canines have been used by police and military organizations to track humans for many years. A canine has the remarkable ability to detect and analyze odors. These dogs have the ability to store and recall odors stored in their memory. Trained canines can also locate and retrieve evidence of a crime by using their perceptive noses. This ability is simply harnessed to assist us in our duties. According to a study conducted by UCLA Medical School, patrol dogs' sense of smell is 6 million times more sensitive than humans. Canines also have the ability to taste scent. Dogs have a gland in the roof of their mouth where the scent is collected, which allows them to track rapidly by taking odor in through his mouth. Dogs do not suffer from what is known as nose fatigue, which humans experience. This allows the dog to follow the same odor for long distances. Every person's scent is as unique as a fingerprint. Ethnic origin, health, soaps, and perfumes, as well as many other factors, determine this scent. Scent is left behind by humans in the form of rafts or scurf. Rafts or scurf refers to the dead skin cell that the body sheds continuously. These dead skin cells contain bacteria, which are the basic makeup of human scent. These cells also contain the smell of perfumes and other odors that add to the basic scent. Perspiration also affects scent when it is deposited on these cells. The human body produces sweat constantly. This perspiration provides a breeding ground for the bacteria contained on these dead skin cells. The scent left behind by humans can be adversely affected by many factors. If the trail of scent is diminished, this will result in poor tracking conditions for the canine team. Some of the factors that affect human scent, as well as tracking conditions, are time. The perishable bacteria that are the main component of scent will no longer produce odors after it's dead. Temperature. Extreme heat and cold would also kill these bacteria and not allow it to produce scent. Humidity. The bacteria that makes up scent thrives on humidity and needs water to live. Low humidity will diminish the life of the scent. Wind. Wind and air currents can disturb and carry scent for long distances. Contaminants. Contaminants such as other human scents, carbon monoxide from vehicle exhaust, and other odors can affect the scent. In addition to having a basic understanding of human scent, officers will also be better able to assist the canine team if they understand some common profiles of fleeing suspects. The Calgary City Police Dog Section once did a study on how the brain reacts under certain conditions. This study, which contains statistics from numerous successful tracks, was remarkably consistent and used to develop a list of habits of fleeing suspects. Suspects who are attempting to evade arrest show some surprisingly similar maneuvers when leaving crime scenes. A suspect exiting a doorway will usually turn to the knob side of the door. When crossing from a street to an alley, or vice versa, he will use the right side of a house, even if the left side has a walkway and a high fence obstructs the right side. In running down an alley or a street, the suspect will usually use the right side. If he can be forced by your containment to continuously make left turns, he will panic and go to the ground, which allows the handler a better possibility for capture. Evidence discarded or thrown by a fleeing suspect will normally be tossed to the left side of a track. The Calgary study showed that 80% of all urban tracks terminated within 4 blocks. These facts can be easily used to locate suspects when establishing a perimeter, as well as when a canine unit is not available. If you're the first officer on the scene, maintain it as you find it. If you arrive on a scene of a crime and are sure that the suspect has fled the area, do not approach the location. Stay in your vehicle and request a canine unit. By doing this, you will preserve the scene and with only the offender's scent for the dog to work on. Some dogs will generally work on the freshest odor late. If both officer and suspect scents are at the same location, the dog may have difficulty in determining which one to follow. The first officer on scene must ensure that the area is free from contamination as possible. One of the most frustrating aspects of working a canine is being dispatched to a crime scene and seeing 3 or 4 patrol cars parked at the scene. Each officer on the scene diminishes the odor present, disturbs the track by either driving over the scent laid by the suspect or by walking around the immediate area surrounding the crime scene. The human scents of officers on scene contaminate the area and diminish the possibility of the canine team in locating the suspect's flight path. Instead of these officers attending the crime scene, they should be deployed properly to establish a perimeter. What is a perimeter? A perimeter is a group of police personnel working together around the scene of a crime to contain a fleeing suspect and cause the suspect to stop. To establish a perimeter, the supervisor will generally assign personnel positions to properly cover the area. The perimeter team should enclose the area 360 degrees if possible. When establishing a perimeter, allow for time delay. Allowing 2 blocks for every minute it takes to respond to the scene is a good general rule. It is better to set a perimeter that is too large rather than too small. By positioning your patrol car at an intersection, you will be able to see a greater area in more than one direction. There are several things that an officer can do while on a perimeter to better contain a fleeing suspect. Activate your warning lights. Turn on all available lights on your police vehicle. By activating your warning lights, you will be more visible to the suspect, and the suspect will usually stop to avoid crossing your path. Activate your public address system or remote radio speaker. Loud noises will generally confuse the suspect and also indicate your position. This will usually make the suspect stop. Get out of your vehicle. Find a place to stand or crouch down where you can observe the surrounding area. This may allow you to hear the suspect and will also give you a better field of view. Try not to enter the perimeter and contaminate it. Control vehicle and pedestrian traffic. Not only does vehicular traffic interfere with the dog's ability to track a suspect, it is also the greatest danger to police dogs. More dogs are killed each year by cars than felonious assaults. It is your job as a containment officer to keep this risk to a minimum. Pedestrians who may walk in the vicinity only bring more human scent to the equation. These unnecessary scents should be eliminated or kept to a minimum because they will only confuse the canine further. Pedestrians can also become a distraction if the canine team encounters them inside the perimeter. The canine may challenge the pedestrian, or the pedestrian could become scared and flee. Persevere. Do not be in a rush to break the perimeter or to leave the scene if you do not get immediate results from your canine team. The longer the suspect is forced to hide, the more scent he will produce. This will enhance the dog team's chances of picking up the scent and locating the suspect. If you are considering breaking off from your containment point, check with the dog handler first. Most experienced canine handlers will notify containment units when there is no longer a need for a perimeter. By understanding some basic principles of human scent and some of the common actions of fleeing suspects, we can be better equipped to assist canine teams in establishing an effective perimeter, which will result in locating more criminal suspects. During this period, we've discussed some of the factors that adversely affect tracking conditions and how we can better be prepared to deal with and possibly eliminate those conditions that are under our control. We have also determined that there are 4 important stages of establishing an effective perimeter, which are as follows: scene preservation, contain the perimeter, control vehicular and pedestrian traffic, and persevere. The key to successful canine applications rests on proper containment and scene preservation. Greater success will be obtained when patrol officers learn that the application of the canine is not the sole responsibility of the handler, but is a team effort that is successful only when there is full support by every member of patrol officers on the ship.